everywhere. On a press of a button, you give a small prompt. If you write, go on to ChatGPT and say, give me data about mass concreting, it will give you at least 10 pages knowledge to you. Okay. But here, because I'm a site person, I will literally go on to the practical aspects of the mass concreting. So what is that? That because the right information available, everybody should still go wrong because the right questions are not asked on site. What I mean by right questions, learn to ask why. People don't ask why. Why 28 days only, or why temperature differential of only 20 degrees allowed? Why? Why? Once you start asking why, you will have your answers and you will learn more easily and fast. So that's what I'm requesting. Ask questions in question answer section. Now I'm coming to my first slide, first official slide. What is mass concrete? Definition: the least element thickness is equal to or greater than 1 meter or 1.5 meter. Some specifications say it is 1 meter, some specifications 1.5 meter. But the least dimensions, what are least dimension means? If you are having a raft of 30 meter or 20 meter, 30 to 30 meter by 20 meter, and it is 1.5 or 2.5 meter depth, then the least diameter of that raft is 2.5 meter. Once it becomes 2.5 meter, it is considered as a mass concrete. Don't confuse yourself that mass concrete means it has to be 5,000 cubic meter or 10,000 cubic meter also only. Mass concrete, a wall can be a mass concrete, even a column with an least element of 1500 mm. If a column is 2300 into 1500, it is a mass concrete column. Heat control is the challenge, real challenge. Not the strength. The mass concrete strength is important, but the major focus is on the heat control. Now you learn this word differential, the temperature gradient. It is a very important word as far as once you are trying to study mass concreting. Why temperature gradient is important, that we'll discuss in a later stage. Now, what is the objective? Objective is to prevent thermal cracking. How the thermal cracking happens? What I'm trying to tell you is what is mass concrete, what we have to do in mass concreting. Initially, I will give you the idea about mass concreting. Now I ask a question. You need not answer. Which number worries you most in mass concrete? The core temperature is 72 degrees centigrade. Surface temperature is 42 degrees centigrade, or temperature differential of 30 degrees centigrade. Which is the most important question, which is most worrying question, or answer, which number worries you? Okay, majority will answer it is 72 degrees, but it is most, but the correct answer is 30 degrees. Why? Again, the question is why? Why a differential of 30 degrees is risky for, and it is to be monitored in mass concrete. You see this image? If you can study this image, you will understand in whole mass concrete. In schools, we have studied central idea. We used to give a poem, and the teacher used to ask, write a central idea about this poem. Or the school teacher would be giving us a story, and we have to write a central idea of a story. So what is the central idea of a mass concrete? You see here, the mass concrete is the core is very hot. Why it is mass concrete? Because the thickness is more than 1 meter. So the heat in the core is not able to dissipate to the atmosphere. In thin members, in slabs, when slab is hardly 5 inches, the heat can dissipate, so the core can cool down. Here the cool wants the cool surface wants to contract, and hot core wants to expand. Can you see the stress here? This, because it is hot, the core wants to expand, and the surface, whole surface, it wants to contract because it is cooling. That heat is dissipated to the atmosphere. This difference of temperature creates tensile stresses. Concrete is a compression element. To cater to the tensile stresses, we tie the bars to, we do reinforcement, steel reinforcement in concrete, whether it is column or beams or in the raft. But these stresses are into the compression area. There we do not have anything to take the control. Tensile stresses, and that's where the concrete cracks.
Mama is not responded. Mama is always out on the weekends.
Ashok, mute now. Who is there?
Yeah, yeah. I request audience, please get muted yourself. Somebody has. Vidya, can you check? Yeah, you can proceed, sir.
So this is the major, I would say, the big, most important slide of the presentation, the differential temperature differential in mass concrete. What the IS codes that the core temperature of a concrete element should not exceed 70 degree, and the difference, what is the difference from the top to the core? In normal, when we are monitoring temperature, we have been studying about, we'll read about the temperature monitoring devices. There are three sensors placed in a mass concrete. One is in core, one is on the top, and one is in the bottom. The core sensor reads the core temperature. The top sensor reads the top layer temperature. This differential should not be 20. In some cases, or even in ASTM or other codes, the core temperature is allowed to go up to even 80, 85. It is not that risky when the core reaches to 20, 25 or 90 degrees also. But if the differential increases 20 degrees, it is dangerous. So this is the game of whole mass concrete. Then designing and there all the other time, but this is the major uh, central theme of mass concrete. That's why I put this slide. So now today, instead of